So what was it about these characters that pulled you into this story, or was it just the story itself?
Ooh.
For me,
Well,
sorry.
go ahead.
No,
No.
go ahead, Juliana.
Well, I think one of the great things about David Kelly's writing and his projects is that the richness of the characters is sort of intrinsic to the success of the story. They kind of go hand in hand. So as much as I wanted to find out what happened next, what happened to Vincent, the small boy who's gone missing, as we find out in the first episode, I also wanted to see how the relationships between the detectives played out. And I wanted to understand what was going on in Avi's head, because he's really a once in a lifetime kind of detective. Never met one like him before. And I don't think I'll meet another like him. And so I think all of those things together, it created a extremely enticing proposition.
I agree. I think it's the show's strength is that it's not a procedural, and but the cases are so interesting and so captivating. They're so you on the edge of your seat to know what's gonna happen, who did, like all you just so drawn into the case, and you just want to continue watching. But it's not only that, it's also a big part of it is the character study, and how the characters are so emotionally rich, and you get to know them, and to understand them, and to learn about them and about their past. So I think this combination is so unique for this show.
Were you familiar with the source material before it? Did you pick it up afterwards, or do you prefer to go in with a clean slate?
I read everything I could about it, because I'm just too curious. And I just, everything if it's the books or preparing, I try to really investigate it, and try to know as much as possible about the show and about my character, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't read the books. I'm more of a blank slater myself, but I do think also maybe I would feel differently if Janine appeared as she is in the books, but she's a little bit of a combo of several characters. Although Dror did come to visit us on set, he's the loveliest man you'll ever meet, and was so supportive of the adaptation and how we were making the stories our own. And he brought us copies of the book. So I do have one at home waiting for me that it's next on my queue. And so now that we finished and I have a little bit of a sense of how I want to play Janine, I think I'm ready to be swept up in Dror's vision.
You'll find something for the second season that you
exactly
fall in. I mean, Janine is she's complicated. I mean, everyone's complicated. This is a David E. Kelly series. Everyone has layers. But from that I've watched the first episode for now, but there's secrets, there's something. Can you describe her at all? Can you, tease a little bit about what we can expect?
Yeah, I think she's brand new. She's a new detective. She's extremely ambitious. She has a very developed sense of right and wrong that hasn't been tested in the real world in a significant way. And I think if she's like a very good baker, Avi is an excellent chef who works with a little more sense of jazz and improv. And I think Janine, who's quite literal and by the book, has a lot to learn from him. And she also has a lot to learn about how the world operates, because the world doesn't operate in black and white. And there are all these shades of gray that challenge her sense of how you determine what's right and what's wrong.
I mean, Jeff, as Juliana said, Avi is he is this great detective. I mean, he's amazing, but he goes through a sort of a crisis of his own humanity in a way. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jeff?
Yeah, like many chefs, I love the chef, the cooking, baking analogy.
Thank you so much.
It's great. It's great. No, so I think somebody who cares so much and has so many feelings inside of him, and I think also a mystery to himself. I think at one point also Janine tells him, Avi, it's not sustainable. So he has no distance. He's so immersed fully in the cases, which makes him also so great in what he does and so unusual. But it's also dangerous. It's it makes him susceptible to mistakes and to suffer because he cares so much. He has no end to blind spots. Because if you're so close, some things you don't see. And I think this is what and because Janine Harris is the way she just tells him the way he is. She's not giving up on him. And a lot of people in the precinct that say, okay, this is up. She goes and she says, no, Avi, this is not the way. This is not, you're not seeing that. This is a blind spot, So I think this is what makes this relationship so important and so inseparable, and they need each other. And I think the biggest blind spot of Avi is that he thinks that it's sustainable, that he can work alone. But then when Janine Harris kid really goes through him and succeeded to surprise him, to inspire him so much, he sees her as this partner that he needs so badly.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That's me, and I can't wait for everyone to see this series because
you're so
the first
sweet.
episode
Thanks,
itself was amazing.
So exciting.
Okay.
So exciting.
Thank you.
November 10th.